Good evening once again from Lee Summit High School. We are just about ready for the finals of the 37th Annual Culver Classic Shootout, which pits the undefeated Lee Summit West Titans against the Blue Spring South Jaguars. Tonight's starting lineups for the Titans. In the backcourt, 6-foot senior Austin Panko, joined by 6'1" senior Nathan Jackson. Swingman 6'3" Shaquille Harrison. The senior, his brother, 6'1" sophomore Monte Harrison, and the big man inside, 6'5" sophomore Dale Brown for Blue Spring South. The three-guard set that really troubles its opponents, led by 6-foot senior DJ Booker, 5'9" junior Justin Pitts, 5'11" junior Carl Martin, 5'11" senior Levi Riley, and their big man inside, 6'4" junior Wesley Polk. We saw a buzzer beater in the third place game as Hickman defeated Raytown South, hoping for another good one here in the title game. Tap controlled by Lee Summit West. Nathan Jackson with a three on the opening possession, rebounded by DJ Booker. Booker was on the all-tournament team here last year for Blue Spring South, who comes in with a 13-2 record. They defeated Lee Summit and Hickman to get here. Booker, Martin, driving, has it poked away from behind, and they'll say it will go the other way. Martin, the junior, scored 19 to lead all scorers in the semifinals, a 55-43 win over Hickman. In the backcourt, Pitts knocks it away. Panko regains control, though. The defensive pressure out on the ball already starting to show, as it did against the Cupies of Hickman High School in the semifinals. Lee Summit West, undefeated, ranked atop the A10varsity.com top 25, wearing the black jerseys with blue and white trim. It's Blue Spring South in the home whites. Despite the Titans being the top seed in the tournament, drive and run are no good by Panko, rebounded by Blue Spring South. Booker had it tapped away. Stays at this end of the floor. We're a minute and 5 seconds in to the championship game. Scoreless between the Titans and the Jaguars. Booker in the corner. Pitts open. Pulls the trigger on the three and hits. Justin Pitts with the first bucket of the game. Blue Spring South on top 3-0. Shaquille Harrison gets control, leaves it to Panko, who's going to try and go all the way. Left it behind for Brown, who wasn't ready for it, but it'll stay at this end. The Titans were in a dogfight with Ray South Wednesday night and needed a leaner in the paint from Harrison with 3 seconds left for the victory. Panko wasn't pretty, but he got all the way to the rim and scores. 3-2 Blue Spring South. First bucket of the night. First points of the night for the Titans. This is Jackson guarding Riley. Now Martin guarded by Panko. Number 10 on number 10. Martin, much more the offensive threat. As I said, scored 19 on Wednesday. Swings this one over to Booker. Another open three for Pitts with the extra pass. That one a little too long. Riley tried to keep it alive but couldn't. It's Harrison. Panko back to Harrison, too far underneath. Brown's there to clean it up, and he'll have one more. Dale Brown with the bucket. The foul sends him to the line for one more. Call goes against Wesley Polk. In that transition opportunity, you could see that Harrison wanted a lob from Panko, but he couldn't get there. It was deflected. By the time Harrison did get the ball, he was too far underneath, but the big fella, Dale Brown, in the right place at the right time. His three-point play gives the Titans their first lead of the night, 5-3. West on top. Kendall Powell checking into the game for Lee Summit West. He replaced Jackson. Powell now on the ball guarding Pitts, giving him fits down to the deck, and now a tie-up. And Powell quickly making an impact on the defensive end. As the whistle was blown, Pitts seemed to have gained possession away from Powell. Now Harrison pokes it away from behind, but Riley's there. Cross-court pass to Booker, mid-range jumper rattles out. Polk battles for the rebound. Wesley Polk trying to make something happen. Now back out on the perimeter with Booker. Guarded by Monte Harrison. Booker's going to go all the way in. Contact. Can't get the roll. Polk has it knocked away, and Brown controls the rebound. Good crowd here tonight to take in this championship game. We are 2 minutes and 45 seconds in. 5-3, Lee Summit West on top. This is Shaquille Harrison, who hit that game winner Wednesday night. Driving into the paint with the right hand. Can't get it to go, but he will go to the free throw line. Harrison attacking. And will make his first trip to the line. 5:06 to play in the first quarter. Lee Summit West 5, Blue Springs South 3. The foul went against Wesley Polk, who here in the first few minutes has picked up 2 fouls. Polk a contributor at both ends of the floor, so that's a potentially damaging foul, although the big fella, Kevin Purrier, number 24, 6'6" freshman, also impactful as he scored 8 off of the bench on Wednesday night. Harrison just grazes the rim on the second free throw after having made the first. It's a 6-3 lead for Lee Summit West just over 3 minutes into the ball game. The winner takes the title of the 37th annual Culver Classic Shootout. It's Purrier who tripped in the corner. Panko in transition. Monte Harrison rose to the rim, but he's going to get called for a walk. Not a popular call there. Harrison looked like he struggled to get a handle on the ball when he first caught it, and by the time he did and took those 2 big steps, he was whistled for a travel. But he showed after that whistle that he can deliver at the rim. 6-3 after that loud violation. Pitts with a step-back jumper, no good. Rebound into the front court. Panko behind the back, but Booker takes it away. It's Pitts who controls it, but the foul is going to go against DJ Booker. An unpopular call at this end of the floor in the Jaguars student section. 3rd team foul against Blue Springs South. Nathan Jackson back in for Powell. So it's Panko, Jackson, Harrison, and making his first appearance also for Lee Summit West with the basketball right now is junior Trevor Gregory, number 24. Harrison to Nathan Jackson. Jackson with a big game on Wednesday night, dropping 14 points on Raytown South. 4:15 to play here in this opening period. 6-3 Lee Summit West on top. Good steal by Gregory. Jackson to the rim, gets the roll. Nathan Jackson's first basket makes it 8-3. And after the opening three-pointer by Justin Pitts, it's been an 8-0 run by the Titans. Now slapped away by Harrison. Into the front court, Gregory off balance. Looked like he twisted his ankle. It's put back up and in by Harrison, but Gregory very gimpy, getting up and trying to get down the floor. And now an official timeout as the sophomore Trevor Gregory, check that, the junior Trevor Gregory, so the quick timeout after the basket makes it 10-3. And now a little bit of full court pressure being shown by the Titans. Riley gets it to Pitts in the corner. This is a 10-0 run by the undefeated Titans. 3:40 to play here in the first quarter. Martin on a bounce to Pitts. Booker guarded by Harrison, driving. Brown cuts him off. Off balance pass back to the wing is taken away by Harrison. No look pass. Jackson to the glass, in, and it'll get. Yeah, it looked like they were going to consider maybe a basket interference. At least that's what the Blue Springs South bench wanted. But the basket went down for Jackson. The foul against Riley. And a big run here has the Titans in control in the first quarter. Nathan Jackson completes the three-point play. He's got 5 points in this first quarter. And now a timeout for Blue Springs South. Coach Jimmy Kane wants to talk about it. His team shell-shocked, all of a sudden down by 10. Tonight's broadcast on 810varsity.com brought to you by A&B CarStar. Collision or repair, A&B CarStar has locations throughout the Kansas City metro area. Check us out online for the closest location to you at carstar.com or call the Riverside location for more information at 816-741-6966. A&B CarStar is proud to be the title sponsor of 810varsity.com and sponsor high school sports year-round throughout the metro area. So out of the timeout, 3 minutes and 23 seconds to play in the first quarter, 13-3. Lee Summit West on top of Blue Springs South. Justin Pitts with the opening bucket of the game for Blue Springs South, knocking down a three. Since then, it's been all Titans, literally. 13-0 run for the undefeated Titans. It'll be senior Levi Riley bringing the ball up the court, guarded by Harrison. Riley on a bounce. Purrier, one pump. Took the contact from Brown, no call, rolls off the rim to the Titans, hits with a nice pick, and he saves it to Martin. Into the front court, Martin with some nifty dribbling, pulls up, shoots, back iron, no good, rebounded by Duran Session. This is Duran Session, the junior guard, into the game for the first time. Harrison pumped on a three from the top of the circle, poked away by Carl Martin. Martin struggles to get a handle, so he'll slow it up and now leave it behind for DJ Booker. 2:40 to play, opening quarter. 13-3, Lee Summit West on top here in the championship game of the Culver's Classic Shootout. Jumper short by Booker, high rebound for Shaquille Harrison. Powell into the front court. Almost taken away by Booker. It'll stay at this end. DJ Booker showing once again his defensive prowess. He was all over the Columbia Hickman Cupies in the semifinals. Didn't do it as much on the offensive end with just 8 points, but he was a beast on the defensive end and on the glass. Some substitutions here as Corey Kilgore checks in for the first time along with J.J. Waddell for Blue Springs South. Also in the game for the first time for the Titans, Thomas Ganadin, sophomore big man. 2:20 to play, opening quarter, 13-3, Lee Summit West on top. Harrison trying to get position. He's going to get called for an offensive foul. He was guarded by a much smaller man. Martin was on him. Martin giving away 4 inches. Harrison called for the foul. That gives it back over to Blue Springs South. Jaguars inbound. Pitts, Martin, Kilgore, Waddell, and Booker on the floor. It's Session, Powell, Harrison, Ganadin, and Brown for Lee Summit West. Long scoreless drought here for Blue Springs South. Going on almost 5 minutes now. Martin rises from the corner. No good. Rebound tapped around. Ends up right back in Martin's hands. Swings it all the way across to Kilgore. Touch pass to Pitts with a man in his face. Knocks it down anyways. Justin Pitts, second three of the game, has accounted for all 6 points for Blue Springs South. Hit that one right in the eye of Kendall Powell. And it's 13-6 with 1:40 to play. Gannon, the big man, showing some good handles out beyond the arc. Now it's in Harrison's hand, trying to spin around Martin. Again, Martin giving up 4 inches. Floater in the paint. Harrison, no good. Big fella Brown with the rebound. Put back, good. And a foul. Dale Brown will look for his second three-point play of the evening. 15-6. Lee Summit West on top, and Brown with a chance to earn his 6th point at the stripe. Foul win against J.J. Waddell. His first, and already 5 against the Jaguars. Just 1 team foul committed by Lee Summit West. Remember, Wesley Polk, the starting big man for the Jaguars, already on the bench with 2 fouls. Brown, pure on the free throw, the big guy with 6 points to lead Lee Summit West, lead back up to 16-6. 10-point margin, matching the largest of the evening so far. Pitts and Martin again in the backcourt. And now it's Carl Martin to DJ Booker, guarded by Monte Harrison. Kilgore. Now Booker spinning into the paint. Leaves it for Martin. Awkward pass over to Pitts. 1 minute to play, approaching 1 minute to play here. Pitts trying to get around his man, steps back. We are under a minute to play now. Almost into the backcourt. Good job by Booker to save, and now Powell hits the deck. A man down. Pitts on the drive, no good. And the rebound pulled down by Panko. Almost slapped away by Pitts, but into the front court it goes. Harrison almost lost it. Now he does. Ends up with Panko, though. All the way to the rim, loses it, and it goes the other way. So a little frantic in the half court there, as Harrison and Panko each lost it once. And the turnover gives it back to Blue Springs South with 42.7 to play in the first quarter. 10-point lead for Lee Summit West. 16-6 our score. This is Carl Martin, Pitts, Kilgore, Booker. Booker leaves it for Pitts. Extra pass, gets an open look from Martin for three, and he hits. Carl Martin, who had 19 Wednesday night, has his first three. Check that. Feet must have been on the line. It's a 2 for Carl Martin, so score 16-8 as Lee Summit West prepares for what is likely the last shot of the first quarter. 8-point lead for the undefeated Titans. This is Harrison trying to hand off to Panko awkwardly, almost lost it into the backcourt. Under 5 seconds. Panko into the paint. 2 seconds. Left hand layup, no good. And after 1 quarter, it is Lee Summit West 16, Blue Springs South 8. A 13-0 run created distance between the two as the Titans have led by as many as 10. Tonight's broadcast of the 37th Annual Culver's Classic on 810varsity.com brought to you in part by Christian Brothers Roofing. If you're going to trust the roof over your head, you need to trust your roofing company. With Christian Brothers Roofing, you get years of experience and integrity. Don't wait until you know there's a problem. Contact us for a complimentary 16-point roof and gutter inspection at Christian Brothers Roofing, 816-453-ROOF or at 453roof.com. 16-8 our score after 1 period of play. Dale Brown leading the Titans with 6. Nathan Jackson has 5 single baskets for Monte Harrison and Austin Panko as well. For Blue Springs South, a pair of threes for Justin Pitts accounts for 6 of the 8 points, and a late jumper by Carl Martin, the other 2 points for the Jaguars. Lee Summit West 15-0 and ranked number 1 in the 810varsity.com top 25. Blue Springs South at 13-2, only with losses to Rockhurst and Lee Summit North, ranked number 7. So ready for the start of the second quarter. It's Jackson, Panko, Harrison, and Brown on the floor for Lee Summit West in the black jerseys. That's the original starting 5 for the Titans. And it's the original starting 5 for the Jaguars as well, with the exception of Corey Kilgore, who's guarding on ball there in place of Levi Riley. 20 seconds into the second quarter, 16-8, Lee Summit West on top, looking for their 16th straight victory to start the season. Brown with a tough move in traffic, has it knocked away. Now Booker into the front court. DJ Booker gets contact on the way to the rim. Monte Harrison doesn't like the call, but the sophomore will be charged with his first foul. Booker, heading toward the rim, was looking over his right shoulder the whole time, knowing that the athletic sophomore for the Titans was going to be on his hip, and it looked like DJ may have lost the handle as he was going up. But Harrison charged with the foul, and Booker to the free throw line looking for his first points of the night. Front iron and no good from DJ Booker. Exactly 30 seconds into this second quarter. It remains 16-8 in favor of Lee Summit West. Harrison's foul was just the second of the half on the Titans. Jaguars have committed 5. Blue Springs South showing a little bit of backcourt pressure, no problem breaking it, and it leads to a Nathan Jackson open 3, pure. Nathan Jackson's 3 matches the largest lead of the night as it's 19-9 in favor of the Titans. Nathan Jackson with 8 points early. Booker with a strong move, swatted by Harrison. Now picked in the backcourt. 3 players on the deck, but it ends up with Monte Harrison. Pushing, gives it to his older brother, who hands off to Panko, who's swatted by Corey Kilgore. Now into the front court. Pitts trying to save it in. Does it. Poke. Finishes. End-to-end action. Wesley Poke provides the finish, and it's 19-11. Lee Summit West with an 8-point lead. Swats on both ends as Poke finished it with a pair. Now Harrison with a nifty move down the baseline, but he can't finish. Rebound in the hands of DJ Booker. 6:30 to play in the first half, 19-11. Lee Summit West on top over Blue Springs South here in the championship game of the 37th annual Culver's Classic Shootout. Carl Martin, DJ Booker, Corey Kilgore, Justin Pitts, Wesley Polk on the floor for the Jaguars. Booker rises for three. Short, no good. Rebounded by Dale Brown. Now Jackson pushes. Nathan Jackson crosses over, gets to the rim, looked like some contact maybe on the wrist. No call, but he finished anyways. Just like that, Nathan Jackson in double figures with 10 points. Lead back to double figures at 21-11. A lot of energy in the arena tonight. Pretty close to a full house here to see this championship game. Little floater from Martin comes up short and rebounded again by the Titans. Monte Harrison to the paint. Left hand, pretty finish. Monte Harrison with his second basket. 23-11, largest lead of the night for the Titans, and that calls for a timeout from the Jaguars sideline. 23-11, 5:39 to play here in the first half. Follow live brackets and watch games online at 810varsity.com, your new home for Kansas City high school sports. If you like 810 Varsity now, buckle your seatbelts as a new redesign is set to launch in a few weeks. Team and league pages, full sport coverage from football to soccer to wrestling, and of course no one brings more games live online than 810varsity.com. Over 250 broadcasts this school year, live or archive. Watch the games online at 810varsity.com. Tournament week here on 810varsity.com with action across both sides of the state line, including here at the Culver's Classic. Earlier tonight we saw Columbia Hickman with a dramatic three-point win on senior Chris Clark's three-pointer in the closing seconds to defeat Raytown South. Ray South finishes fourth in the tournament. Lee Summit North won the fifth place game earlier tonight, 50-49 over Ruskin. And in the seventh place game early on, it was O'Hara defeating the hosts, Lee Summit Tigers, 66-57. So all that's left is to crown the champion. And we are not quite a quarter and a half on our way to doing so. Backcourt pressure, Riley in trouble. Powell and Session there on the trap, but he gets it over to Pitts into the front court. Kilgore on a bounce. Polk with good position. Got his man in the air, finishes. Wesley Polk with two buckets here in the second quarter after taking an early seat in the first quarter with a couple of fouls. His basket there cuts it to 10, 23-13, Lee Summit West on top. It's Powell, Session, Gregory, Jackson, and Shaquille Harrison on the floor for Lee Summit West. Gregory, Powell for three. High off the iron and rebounded by Justin Pitts. 5 minutes to play in the first half, 23-13, Lee Summit West on top. Riley, Kilgore guarded by Jackson. Pitts takes a deep three. Hits! Justin Pitts. 3 triples on the night. His 9 points leads the Jaguars, and they're back within 7, 23-16 as we approach 4:30 to play here in the second quarter. Tough pass for Shaquille Harrison to track down, and by the time he does, his foot's on the sideline, and a turnover sends it back to the Jaguars. DJ Booker checks back in, as does Kevin Purrier for the Jaguars. Panko and Monte Harrison, along with Dale Brown, back in for the Titans. Lee Summit West by 7. Kilgore in the backcourt, guarded by Jackson. Now it's Justin Pitts. Pitts guarded closely by Powell. Now Booker. Booker to the lane, has it blocked by Dale Brown, but the big fella is going to get called for his first foul of the night. Dale Brown with 6 points in the first quarter, saddled with his first foul here. Third team foul against Lee Summit West. So DJ Booker, who split a pair of free throws a couple minutes ago, back to the line for 2 more. Iron unkind there as he misses the first. 1 more coming as Shaquille Harrison checks back in, replacing Kendall Powell. 4:20 to play here in the first half of our championship game. Lee Summit West by 7. Make it 6 as Booker again splits his free throw attempts. 23-17 our score. Lee Summit West on top. Number 1 versus number 7. Tournament title at stake here. Harrison left wing. Panko on the dribble into the paint. Jackson wants another three. Off the iron, no good. Panko with the rebound. Harrison top of the circle now. Jackson to Panko. Brown, rather than set up on the low post, sets a screen for Harrison, who flashes through, but Panko instead back to the top of the circle. Jackson now on the drive to the dish. Nathan Jackson leading all scorers with 12 points. 25-17. Lee Summit West on top by 8. 3:35 to play here in the first half. Kevin Purrier, the big freshman, out on the perimeter looking for a guard to hand off to, and it ends up with Justin Pitts near the timeline, who gives the thumbs up signal to the rest of his team. Crosses over his man to the top of the circle and pulls another three. That one off the iron and rebounded by Monte Harrison, and now into the hands of his older brother Shaquille. Monte Harrison to Austin Panko. 3:10 to play here in the opening half. 25-17, Lee Summit West on top. Nathan Jackson's had the hot hand, wants a deep three, hits another one. Nathan Jackson, 2 threes in the game. He's got 10 points this quarter. He's got 15 for the game. Largest lead of the night. 28-17, Lee Summit West on top. Booker, good show on that screen by Dale Brown. And now Brown sticking with DJ Booker. Booker wants to go to the lane. Lays it up and in. Strong move by the senior guard, DJ Booker. He's got 4. 28-19. The Lee Summit West lead is 9 with 2:25 to play in the opening half. Active hands by the senior Levi Riley, who knocks the pass away. Trying to get it to Shaquille Harrison. Now a couple of substitutions as Brown is replaced by Gregory for the Titans. Martin checks in after a brief rest for the Jaguars. 2:15 to play in the opening half. 28-19. Lee Summit West on top. Gregory double teamed briefly. Now Panko looking for a lob to Harrison. Too high and a little too deep for Harrison, who met the side of the backboard as he tried to corral it. And into the front court, Booker looking to drive again, swatted by Gregory. Ball still loose and pulled in by Jackson. Monte Harrison now pushing, guarded by Booker, and now he pulls up into the corner for Shaquille Harrison, who pumps. Now Panko looking to drive. A bump, no call as Panko hits the deck, and now pass taken away by Harrison, who's bumped and can't finish. Put back altered by Purrier, and now a foul on the big fella Kevin Purrier as Panko went up for a second try. So Purrier, after collecting the rebound, had the pass taken away, but did well to defend under the basket afterward, eventually earning a foul. His first foul, and the 6th against the Jaguars. Under a minute and a half to play in the quarter now. 28-19, Lee Summit West on top. They trailed 3-0 early, then took control with a 13-0 run, and have led by as many as 11 since. Harrison with the handoff from Panko. He's guarded by Martin, now throws it over to his younger brother Monty, who's guarded by Booker. Approaching a minute to play here in the first half. Lee Summit West looking to stay undefeated and stay atop our A10varsity.com poll. Shaquille Harrison trying to break down Martin. Cut off on the baseline by Purrier, but he wraps it around with the right hand. Shaquille Harrison, the lefty, with a nifty move, finishing with the right hand. And the lead back up to 11. Riley on a bounce to Martin. We're under a minute to play in the first half. 30-19. Lee Summit West on top, matching their largest lead of the night. Martin backs up near the timeline as we approach 30 seconds to play in the half. Carl Martin, after scoring 19 Wednesday in the semifinals, has scored just 2 here in the first half tonight. It's Martin, Kilgore, Booker, Purrier, and Riley on the floor for the Jaguars. 15 seconds to play in the half. Jaguars trailing the Titans by 11. Kilgore, guarded by Jackson, hands it off to Booker. Now under 10 seconds. Booker guarded by Jackson, looking for a little movement. 5 seconds now. Booker stumbling, gets to the baseline, trying to get all the way to the rim. Harrison is there to shut him off. Gregory cleans up the rebound. Buzzer sounds to end the first half. And we'll go to the locker room with the undefeated Lee's Summit West Titans leading the Blue Springs South Jaguars 30-19. You're watching the championship game of the 37th annual Culver's Classic on 810varsity.com. Welcome back to Lee's Summit High School, host of the 37th annual Culver's Classic Shootout. We are at halftime of the championship game with Lee's Summit West leading Blue Spring South 30-19, just getting ready for the start of the second half. In fact, it'll be Jaguars basketball to start the second half after hitting an opening three to start the scoring. It was a 13-0 run by the Titans to take control of the game. The margin right now matches the largest of the night. And we'll see what the Jaguars come out of the locker room with here. It's Booker on the opening possession. DJ Booker with a nice spinning move in the paint. And the senior has the opening basket of the second half. 30-21 our score. Booker with 6 points. The Jaguars, I believe, really impacted by the foul trouble of the big man Wesley Polk, who picked up 2 fouls early and had to hit the bench. He's back in the game now. There he is, right on cue, but he loses the ball on the post. Some frustration there from the junior 6'4" Wesley Polk upon getting back into the game in the second quarter after his foul trouble. Polk scored a couple of buckets to help inject a little life into the Jaguars, and we'll see what kind of impact he has and if he can stay out of further foul trouble here in the second half. The Titans in the first half were led by senior Nathan Jackson as Pitts gets a steal off of the big man Dale Brown and brings it into the front court. Booker wants to attack. Instead, he leaves it behind for Pitts. Long on that one. He hit 3 threes in the first half, but there's Polk with the offensive board. Leading scorer in the first half was senior Nathan Jackson, who had 15 of the 30 points for the Titans. He had 14 against Raytown South Wednesday, already eclipsing that total, showing some good long-range shooting once again here tonight. Booker from just inside the three-point line knocks it down, so 2 quick baskets by DJ Booker has the Jaguars back within 7, a minute and a half into the third quarter. 30-23 our score. The Lee Summit West Titans on top. Good crowd on hand here tonight as Jackson looks for another three. That one well short. Long rebound ends up with Shaquille Harrison, so it stays at this end. Panko driving, gets to the rim and lays it in. Austin Panko with an aggressive move, a little hesitation once he got to the rim, but he converts nonetheless, and Panko with 4 points. Booker in the paint, and it goes out of bounds. It'll stay at this end of the floor with the Jaguars, who trail 32-23, 6 minutes and 2 seconds to play in the third quarter. It's Martin, Booker, Riley, Polk, and Pitts for the Jaguars. That's the original starting 5. Good seal in position inside by Polk, who was fouled by Dale Brown and will go to the free throw line. Second foul on Dale Brown. First foul for either side here in this second half. So the original starting 5 on the floor for the Jaguars, and likewise for the Titans, who have Panko, Harrison, Jackson, and Dale Brown, as Wesley Polk gets his 5th point of the night by hitting the first of his free throws, and he'll have one more here at the 5:57 mark of the third quarter. It's the championship game of the Culver Classic Shootout. Third place earlier tonight went to Columbia Hickman High School as their senior guard, Chris Clark, tickled the twine from long range in the final seconds for a 51-48 win over Raytown South. 5th place to Lee Summit North, 6th place Ruskin, 7th place O'Hara, and 8th place the host Lee Summit Tigers. This is Dale Brown, a little nudge on the inside from Polk, now resetting position. Turns and faces him, now turns back around and then back out to Panko, now Jackson. Jackson with a strong move all the way to the rim, can't get the roll, and rebounded by Carl Martin. 5.5 to play in the third quarter, 32-25. On the bounce, Polk gathers, puts it up and in, but he's going to get called for a walk. Tough break for the junior Wesley Polk, who just had a little trouble gathering that. Once he did get it up, he laid it in with the left hand, but shuffled his feet, and the turnover sends it back over to the Titans. 32-25. Harrison, corner 3, no good. Rebound pulled down by DJ Booker. Booker guarded by Monte Harrison. That's been a good matchup tonight. Well, Harrison with just 4 points. Booker with 6, but the two of them probably the most athletic players on the floor, really getting after each other. Riley has it poked away. Now into the front court. Shaquille Harrison. Riley pokes it away and gets it back. Poke was open in the front court for a brief moment. Now it's Martin, who goes right to the rim, and Brown held his ground. Now tipped out of bounds on the pass to Poke, who turns away in frustration. So Martin and Poke were in the front court. Martin tried to do it himself, and Dale Brown, the big man, kept his position straight up to disrupt that opportunity, and it ends in a turnover. Back to Lee Summit West with 4:25 to play in the third quarter. 32-25. Panko open underneath with the bucket. Nice look by Shaquille Harrison, and the second bucket of the second half for Austin Panko, who's got 6. Booker, Poke with position. Now faces Dale Brown. Short jumper is short, and now out ahead looking for Harrison. It's taken away by Booker. DJ Booker wants to go right to the rim. Slipped, turned his ankle, maybe a little, but he made it anyways. DJ Booker showing some of that athletic ability despite losing his footing. He kind of held that foot up in the air for a moment like he may have turned it. But the big, strong senior guard alive and well here in the second half with 6 of his 10 points. Dale Brown with a nice catch in traffic and finish. Brown had 6 points in the first quarter, none since until that bucket right there, and it's 36-27. Booker the other way, feeling it. DJ Booker on fire in the second half with 8 points. 3:26 to play in the third quarter, 36-29. Lee Summit West on top, a full timeout on the floor with some good up and down action here early in the second half. Tonight's broadcast of the Culver's Classic Shootout on 810varsity.com brought to you by A&B CarStar. Collision or repair, A&B CarStar has locations throughout the Kansas City metro area. Check us out online for the closest location to you at carstar.com or call the Riverside location for more information, 816-741-6966. A&B CarStar, proud to be the title sponsor of 810varsity.com and sponsor high school sports year-round throughout the metro area. So again, Lee Summit West, we know the storyline, 15-0 to start the season. Blue Springs South, the 7th-ranked team in our 810varsity.com top 25. So it's number 1 versus number 7. The Titans have led by as many as 11 tonight, including that 30-19 margin at the break. But senior DJ Booker, a first-team all-tournament performer here last year, has shown in the first handful of minutes of this second half that he's not ready to go down without a fight. He's got 12 on the game. He's got 8 of them in this half, including a jumper that caused that last timeout. And now back to action. It's the big man Ganadin into the front court, has it knocked away by Riley. So Riley with a couple of steals here in the third quarter, and it's back to the Jaguars with 3:12 to play in the third quarter. They've got the lead down to 7, and they've got the basketball to try and cut into it further. Swing to Pitts now in the corner. Riley guarded by a much bigger man, Ganadin, who stands 6'5". Booker guarded by Jackson. Booker once more, has more, gets to the rim and lays it in. DJ Booker has the Jaguars within 5. He's got 14 to lead Blue Springs South. Only this man has more. And Nathan Jackson once more, and he knocks down another 3. Right on cue, Nathan Jackson with another 3. He's now got 18 points. Lead back to 8. Booker trapped in the corner. I believe he may have knocked it off of his defender to save possession there. I heard the whistle, but did not see what happened. Regardless, it'll stay at this end. This is Corey Kilgore checking in for the first time in the second half to trigger the inbounds. Dangerous pass there as Harrison was closing, but Martin gathers and knocks it down. Tough jumper for Carl Martin. Mid-range floater. Carl Martin with 4 points, 39-33. Lee Summit West on top with 2:20 to play in the third quarter. It's Powell, Harrison, Gregory, and Panko on the floor for Lee Summit West. A near steal as Gregory a little lazy on the handoff to Monte Harrison, but it's Kendall Powell now on the right wing guarded by Booker. Gregory looking to hand off, instead goes right to the rim. Lays it in, but an offensive foul. as Carl Martin stood his ground as the taller defender barreled toward him. And Trevor Gregory picks up his first foul. Momentum still on the side of the Jaguars. They trail by 6 with 2:03 to play in the quarter. Backcourt pressure again by the Titans. Kilgore a little bit of trouble getting the ball in bounds. Martin controls. And in the face of Kendall Powell, breaks half court. Martin, Booker, Purrier, Kilgore, and Pitts on the floor for Blue Springs South. Booker guarded by Monte Harrison. Booker gets to the low post, spins under Gregory, who swats it. Nice block by Trevor Gregory. Now into the front court. Powell's going to go right to the rim. Blocked by Corey Kilgore. Powell had Gregory in the paint, could have handed it off to the bigger fella, but instead Powell decided to do it himself. And great defense by the sophomore Corey Kilgore on the swat. So blocks on both ends. And now Gregory spinning. Nice extra move, fouled by Booker, and Trevor Gregory will go to the line. He had Purrier on his hip. On the pivot, he got the freshman to go around him. And now Gregory to the free throw line looking for his first points. Second foul on DJ Booker, just the first here in the second half against the Jaguars. Gregory to the line. His free throw is around and in. Trevor Gregory is 6'6" junior. Nathan Jackson back in to replace Shaquille Harrison. 1:28 to play in the third quarter. 40-33. Lee Summit West on top. Gregory, the junior, with a chance for one more from the free throw line. Back iron, no good. Monte Harrison with the offensive board. Back in the hands of Gregory. Wants to go right back to the rim. He does, but he misses. Put back, good. Austin Panko, the 6-foot guard among the trees, gets his 8th points of the night. Kilgore quickly the other way. Answers with a three. Corey Kilgore's first basket of the night, and it's 42-36. So in this second half, the Jaguars have been punching and counter-punching, staying within reach. We saw Columbia Hickman do the same in the consolation game, and now a little lazy with the ball. Powell almost loses it, but it went out of bounds off of Martin. Poke back in for Purrier. Shaquille Harrison checking back in after a very brief rest. He replaces Kendall Powell. Just under a minute to play in the third quarter. 42-36, Lee Summit West on top. As I mentioned, this following a little bit of the same script. Dangerous and ill-advised pass on the inbound as Levi Riley gets another steal. Riley thinking about doing it all himself. It's blocked by Harrison. Martin controls, though. Now into the corner. Justin Pitts shuffles it over to Poke, who lowers his shoulder, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Wesley Poke. Poke faced with a much shorter man, Panko, who's 4 inches shorter. Poke gathered the low pass, knocked Panko to his seat, and for that Wesley Poke gets his third foul. And instead of pulling within 4 and further building on their momentum, the offensive foul turns it back over to the Titans. Titans a little bit loose with the basketball, maybe some caused by the continued aggressiveness of the Jaguars defense that's allowed this lead to remain in single digits here since the early part of this third quarter. We go under 30 seconds to play in this third period. 42-36, the Titans on top. This is Booker guarding Harrison. Shaquille Harrison with 3 points. Into the corner. Jackson now out to Panko. Now back to Shaquille Harrison. Under 15 seconds to play in the quarter. The Titans trying to hold for the last possession, trying to build on a 6-point lead. Harrison between the legs. 5 seconds. Has it poked away off of his foot. No, they're saying it's off the foot of DJ Booker and out of bounds on the sideline near the corner. It'll be Titans basketball with 4.2 seconds left. Poke goes to the bench for Waddell to make sure that the junior Wesley Poke doesn't pick up a cheap foul in the final seconds. Panko to trigger the inbound. And as he passes it inbound, timeout called before the pass by the Titans. So 4.2 seconds to play. Titans basketball and a 6-point lead. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Christian Brothers Roofing. If you're going to trust the roof over your head, you need to trust your roofing company. With Christian Brothers Roofing Company, you get years of experience and integrity. Don't wait until you know there's a problem. Contact us for a complimentary 16-point roof and gutter inspection at Christian Brothers Roofing, 816-453-ROOF or at 453roof.com. So again, the largest lead of the night on a few occasions has been 11. Titans have led since the early going. Jaguars got as close as 5 here in this period. The margin is 6 right now. Titans basketball here in the final seconds of the quarter. Jackson, Gregory, Harrison, and Panko. It's Jackson on the inbound. He gets the handoff back from Harrison. An off-balance three will draw nothing as time expires in the third quarter. So 8 minutes left to play. 42-36 as we head to the fourth quarter of our championship game at the 37th Annual Culver's Classic. Follow live brackets and watch games online here at 810varsity.com, your new home for Kansas City high school sports. And if you like 810 Varsity now, buckle your seatbelts as a new redesign is set to launch in a few weeks. Team and league pages, full sport coverage from football to soccer to wrestling. And of course, no one brings more games live online than 810varsity.com. Over 250 broadcasts this school year, live or archive. Watch games online at 810varsity.com. So we're about to start the fourth quarter of the championship game at the 37th Annual Culver Classic from Lee's Summit High School. Some energy on the bench for the Blue Springs South Jaguars, who have just about cut the lead in half. It was 11 at the break. It's 6 now as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. And that was a third quarter that was owned by the Jaguars senior, DJ Booker. He scored 10 points. He's got 14 for the game. Justin Pitts has 9 for the Jaguars. Wesley Polk with 6. Leading the way by far for Lee Summit West has been senior Nathan Jackson, who's hit 3 threes. He's got 18 to lead all scorers. Austin Panko with 8 as well. And 8 more points contributed by sophomore big man Dale Brown. It's Titans basketball as we start the fourth quarter, 42-36. Harrison to Panko, poked away from behind. Booker tries to get it, and now onto the deck there are several players controlled by Panko. Now Harrison to the rim. Shaquille Harrison with the bucket. He's got 5, and the lead is 8, 44-36. Booker looked for Polk, wasn't there. Instead they'll reverse. It ends up with Justin Pitts. Check that, it's Carl Martin. Polk waiting there for a screen, now looking to set up on the post. Gets the pass, gets the finish. Wesley Polk with 8 points. 44-38, 7:18 to play. Lee Summit West on top of Blue Springs South here in our championship game. Original starting 5 on the floor for both teams. Harrison, Brown, Panko, Jackson for West. For South, it's Pitts, Martin, Booker, Riley, Polk. Under 7 minutes to play in the ballgame. 6-point lead for Lee Summit West. This is Jackson. Had a 3 in the third quarter, but most of the damage he's done was in the first half, as he scored 15 of his 18 before halftime. This is Justin Pitts guarding Panko. Pitts has 3 threes on the game, provided a lot of the early offense for the Jaguars to keep them close. Shaquille Harrison in the corner to Monte Harrison, guarded by Riley. Off balance, left hand, leaves it short. Riley with the rebound. Booker into the front court. Booker leaves it on a bounce, now gets it back. He'll take the jumper from the baseline. No good. Rebound tapped around. Panko controls. Martin aggressively in the backcourt, tries to poke it away and gives a foul. Carl Martin with his first foul and the third in the half against the Jaguars. Austin Panko walks it up the floor. The senior guard Panko had 6 in the third quarter, 6 big points. He's got 8 for the game. Almost had that one taken away by Pitts. Working hard inside, Brown trying to get it. Another ill-advised pass in there. He wasn't ready for it and wasn't in position for it. It leads to Booker in transition. Off-balance shot by DJ Booker, who now looks like he's cramping up. DJ Booker now trying to pull on his toe, maybe to get a cramp, and The bench for the Jaguars can only hope that's what it is. It certainly looked like he was reaching to stretch his toe to try and get out of cramp. Booker would be going to the line for 2 free throws. He kind of went up awkwardly for that shot. Didn't see how he came down, but it certainly, like they're trying to stretch his calf, as suspected. To reset things as we deal with the injury timeout. 5:56 to play. It is Lee Summit West 44 and Blue Springs South 38. Recapping what we saw earlier tonight here from the Culver's Classic Shootout. Columbia Hickman on a last-second three-pointer defeated Raytown South 51-48 to earn 3rd place. So Hickman in 3rd place, Ray South in 4th. Lee Summit North defeated Ruskin 50-49 to earn 5th place. And at the bottom of the bracket, it was O'Hara with a 66-57 win over the host school, the Lee Summit Tigers, in the 7th place game. So Booker will have to go to the bench with his injury. Sophomore Corey Kilgore will take his place, and that means Kilgore will be the one going to the line for 2 free throws. 44-38 is our score. A 6-point lead for the undefeated Titans. Kilgore long on the free throw, and he will get one more. So Kilgore splits the free throw attempts. He's got 4 points on the night. The lead is 5. 44-39, 5:50 to play. Harrison to Panko. Guarded aggressively by Justin Pitts. Now Jackson back to Panko. Harrison to Harrison. At the elbow, handoff from Brown to Shaquille Harrison, who tried to cross over his man. It went off his foot. Nope, it went off of Wesley Polk. So Harrison tried to cross over right to left to get to the baseline on the big fella from Blue Springs South. Out of bounds on the baseline. Panko to throw it in. There's Monte Harrison. Gets in close. Can't finish it, and Wesley Polk in good position for the rebound. And the Jaguars can cut it to a one-possession game. 5:20 to play. 44-39. Lee Summit West on top. Martin. Kilgore. Now back to Kilgore, who's guarded by Jackson. Kilgore got around him to the left side, leaves it underneath for Polk, who had it knocked away from behind by Harrison, but Shaquille Harrison will be charged with the foul. Nice move by Kilgore to break down his man and leave it to Polk. And Wesley Polk, who had an open shot at the rim, was hacked from behind by Harrison. Now Polk to the free throw line to try and cut into this 5-point deficit. 5:07 to play. Polk with 8 points. And give him 9 with that free throw. Wesley Polk, the big man, now 3 of 3 from the free throw line. It is 44-40, and this is as close as Blue Springs South has been since the early goings of the first quarter. Polk good again on his free throw, and with 5:07 left, expect the crowd to come alive as they were early on, as we have a one-possession game approaching the 5-minute mark. 44-41. Harrison, a little trouble getting it inbounds, but tosses it to his brother, who now gives it back to him, and Shaquille Harrison, the lanky lefty, will trigger the offense. Brown is there for a screen. Harrison wants to go to the rim. He does, switches it to the right hand, though doesn't get the roll. Polk with another rebound, and now Martin to push. Has it knocked away from behind by Harrison. A delayed call by the official. And another quick foul on Harrison. He's got 3 now, and there's 5 on the Titans. Kilgore on the inbound, finds Martin. Carl Martin was the hot hand on Wednesday. He's just got 4 points tonight, but he showed against Hickman that he can turn it on. He had 19 against the Cupies and is a threat from outside at any time. This is Booker back in the game. Pitts to tie, no good, and the rebound long out to Jackson. 4.5 to play, 44-41. That would have brought down the house if Pitts could have tied it up. He had three threes in the first half, but hasn't scored since. But the tandem of Pitts and Martin and Booker, always a threat. Kilgore with the rebound off of Harrison's miss, and as we approach 4 minutes to play, it remains a one-possession game. Martin guarded by Harrison. Now Booker. Martin. Back to Booker, under 4 minutes to play now. It's the original starting five, with the exception of Kilgore in place for Riley. Contested jump shot by Booker, rebounded long out to Panko. Wants to push. Panko right into Corey Kilgore, draws the foul. Good move by Panko, recognizing that his defender was not in position. He took it right at him. And Kilgore with his first foul and the 4 against the Jaguars. Substitution as Trevor Gregory checks in the game to replace Dale Brown. Ganadin back in the game. He's seen limited action after having a good impact off the bench against Ray South on Wednesday. That's Ganadin, 32, who passes it over to Harrison. Now back to the big sophomore, Thomas Ganadin. He's guarded by Booker, trying to get around him, leaves it out to Jackson instead. We're approaching 3.5 minutes to play. 44-41, a near steal by Pitts. Panko gets all the way to the rim and finishes. Austin Panko, throughout this second half, has succeeded in getting to the rim. Booker wants to answer, has it blocked from behind by Gregory, and it goes back over to the Titans with 3:19 to play. So you expect to see the Harrisons slash into the basket perhaps, but it's been Austin Panko who's provided a push, penetrating to the basket as he did on that last possession, and now this Titans turnover ends its most recent possession, and Ganadin will head back to the bench. So 3:07 to play, 46-41, the Titans on top. It's been a low-scoring fourth quarter. Just 10 total points here through the first 5 minutes of the last period. But it looks like we are in for another good finish, just as we saw in the consolation game with Hickman on a last-second 3 defeating Raytown South. Martin in the corner to Booker. Good position for Polk, who faces his man and then lays it in. Wesley Polk went right after Trevor Gregory and finished. He's got 6 points in the quarter, 12 for the game. Harrison attacking to answer and will go to the free throw line. Monte Harrison wasting no time, going right at Wesley Polk. And now the big man for the Jaguars with 4 fouls. Both teams with 5. Monte Harrison, 4 points on the night. 2:37 to play. He can make this a 2-possession game again. Free throw by Harrison off the back iron. Dale Brown replaces Gregory. One more free throw to come for Monte Harrison. Culver's Classic Championship on the line. Undefeated season so far on the line for the Titans as well. And though Harrison misses both free throws, the ball is back in his hands after the offensive rebound. Brown now off the roll. Screen and roll there between Harrison and Brown. Ball goes out of bounds and will stay at this end of the floor for the Titans. 2 big men in the game now on the front line for the Jaguars as Purrier replaces Kilgore. 2:23 to play, 46-43, Lee Summit West on top, 15-0. The Titans trying to improve to 16-0. The Jaguars have lost just twice this year and proving they are a formidable threat. Panko to Harrison. Shaquille Harrison had it knocked away briefly by Pitts. Now to the rim. Shaquille Harrison hanging in the air, finishes. Harrison with 7 points, 48-43, under 2 to play. Purrier, the big fella, has it knocked away by Panko. Austin Panko behind the back in transition, now thinking of pulling out. Instead, into the corner, Harrison thought about a 3, instead will go to the rim, attacks Purrier, and he draws the foul. So Harrison will go to the free throw line, 1:42 to play, 5-point lead for the Titans. Panko with another big play on the steal. picking the pocket of the big man Purrier. Seven points for Harrison, but we've seen him struggle from the free throw line in these last two games. He's 1 of 3 from the stripe tonight. Purrier back to the bench for the Jaguars. Ganadin back in for the Titans. It's Ganadin, Panko, Harrison, and Brown for Lee Summit West as Harrison gets his second free throw to go. 49-43, 1:40 to play. Martin with the ball. He's got Riley, Pitts, Booker, and Wesley Polk. 1:35 to play. 6-point lead for the Titans. Jaguars fighting to stay alive. Booker to Polk. Good position for Polk, who finishes with the left hand, and a quick timeout for Blue Springs South. Coach Jimmy Kane. Wesley Polk playing with foul trouble, having a big fourth quarter. It was Booker with 10 points in the third quarter, and it is Polk with 8 points in the fourth quarter to keep the Jaguars in striking distance. 49-45 is our score. Lee Summit West on top. Tournament week here on 810varsity.com. Living up to the hype as we saw what amounted to a buzzer beater to win it for Columbia Hickman in our consolation game here at the Culver's Classic. And down to the wire here in the championship game as undefeated Lee Summit West clings to a 4-point lead with 1:23 to play. The basket by Wesley Polk has pulled the Jaguars within 49-45. 6 team fouls against the Jaguars, and you got to think that it won't be too long before they spend team foul number 7 to send the Titans to the free throw line to stop the clock. We'll see how much they try and trap. Aggressive in the backcourt as Riley and Martin went after Panko. Now the big man Ganadin gets it back to Panko in the front court with 1:15 to play. 4-point lead and the basketball for West. 1:10 to play. Panko guarded by Riley. Now Panko picks up his dribble. Ganadin out. Now gets double teamed. Tipped by Riley. But he can't control. Now picked away from behind, but they're going to call a foul on Carl Martin. Riley very nearly had another steal. He's got at least 3 in this half that I can recall, but he couldn't quite pull it down after the deflection. And so the foul will send Thomas Ganadin to the free throw line. Ganadin, the sophomore, has seen limited action tonight, but we've seen more of him here in this second half. And now a big spot for him to step to the free throw line, looking for his first points and trying to extend a 4-point lead. Front iron flat on the free throw, but Ganadin gets it back. It looked like Monte Harrison may have tipped it, and now quickly Justin Pitts is going to give a foul to Shaquille Harrison. So a tough break there as the offensive rebound, the second time here in the last couple minutes that West has failed to convert free throws but has been able to gather the offensive board. 55.2 seconds to play. 49-45, Lee Summit West with the lead. It'll be Harrison to the free throw line after the timeout. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by A&B CarStar Collision or Repair. A&B CarStar has locations throughout the Kansas City metro area. Check us out online for the closest location to you at carstar.com or call the Riverside location for more information. 816-741-6966. A&B CarStar is proud to be the title sponsor of 810varsity.com and sponsor high school sports year-round throughout the metro area. Again, we'll reset. 55.2 seconds to play here in the championship game of the 37th Annual Culver's Classic Shootout. It is the top-seeded Lee Summit West Titans with a 4-point lead, and Shaquille Harrison heading to the free throw line to try and build on that 49-45 margin. A game effort tonight by the Jaguars, who've trailed by as many as 11 and have fought back to within a possession here in this fourth quarter. Harrison, just as I'd mentioned his struggles from the free throw line, upon his last trip to the stripe, he's hit 2 in a row and 2 big ones at that. One more here to come that can stretch it to a 6-point lead. Harrison, money when it counts, hits his 2 free throws. He's got 7 points this quarter. He's got 10 for the game. He was big in the 4th quarter to beat Raytown South. And answering the call here again. 53 seconds to play, 51-45. Lee Summit West on top. Martin with an open 3. Short, rebound tapped around and controlled by Harrison. Martin ties it up. What a play by the guard, Carl Martin, off the miss to wrestle a tied possession with Shaquille Harrison and keep the ball at this end of the floor. 44.9 to play, 51-45. Harrison flops and is called for the block. Levi Riley dribbling toward the free throw line. Harrison hit the deck. Thought Riley might have lowered his shoulder. Instead, the foul goes against Harrison, who now has 4. And he will take a brief break with Nate Jackson checking in his place. We haven't seen much of Jackson in this 4th period. He's got 18 points to lead all scorers. Next free throw will send Blue Spring South to the line if it comes to that, but they need points in a hurry. Martin steps back for a short jumper. Polk holds his ground for the offensive board and fights for the bucket. Wesley Polk continues to be big here in the 4th quarter. 30 seconds to play, 51-47. Jackson with a tough finish in transition past Polk. 21 seconds and counting. Booker can't get it in bounds. Gotta hurry. 53-47. 15 seconds left. Martin trying to make a move, and he's fouled by Kendall Powell, who had just checked into the game, and that will send the Jaguars to the free throw line with 14.7 to play. 53-47. Titans on top. Shaquille Harrison replaces Monte Harrison. Dale Brown replaces Thomas Ganadin, and it'll be Carl Martin at the free throw line. Martin, the 5'11 junior, with 4 points on the evening. Riley now takes a seat as the bigger Kevin Purrier comes in. Martin with 1 and 1. Hits the first. 5-point game with 14.7 seconds left in this championship game of the Culver's Classic Shootout. 53-48. One more for Martin. Got it. Carl Martin, 6 points. They'll set up some backcourt pressure and will look for a quick turnover, and if not, they'll have to give a quick foul. Powell caught that one in his belly, and Booker was there quickly to foul him. DJ Booker, who we saw limp away with a cramp earlier in this second half, definitely favoring that muscle as he limps into the front court here. Booker's foul is his 3rd. Still a 1-and-1 situation. Only a half a second went off the clock, but it is still a 2-possession game. Powell to the free throw line. Powell has provided good energy, good minutes, but has not scored, and that stays that way as Polk gets the rebound. Out to Carl Martin. 10 seconds to play in a 4-point game. Martin's going to go right to the rim, right after Ganadin, and he lays it in. We've got a 2-point game with 5.8 seconds left. Martin maybe thought his defender was expecting him to pull up from the 3-point line. Instead, he attacked the rim and the bigger defender, Ganadin, and laid it in to cut it down to a 2-point game. 53-51, just under 6 seconds to play. Still very much an outcome that's in doubt. Championship game at the Culver's Classic Shootout here at Lee Summit High School. 53-51, coming down to the wire. It'll be Lee Summit West basketball coming out of the timeout, clinging to that 2-point lead. The last time they had possession, it got into the hands of Kendall Powell, the reserve guard. Only a half second ticked off the clock, and Powell missed the front end of the 1-and-1. It took about 9 seconds from that point for Carl Martin to get end-to-end and score to cut it to a 2-point game. Expect more backcourt pressure and expect another quick foul if they don't get the turnover right off of the inbound pass. 9 team fouls against the Jaguars, so the next one will be an automatic 2 shots for the Titans. It's Panko, Ganadin, Jackson, Powell, and Shaquille Harrison who come out for the Titans. It's Booker, Polk, who runs deep, Martin, Pitts, and Riley on the floor for the Jaguars. Now it'll be Ganadin who throws it into Nathan Jackson, who's fouled quickly by Justin Pitts. 9/10 of a second go off the clock. Justin Pitts charged with the foul, his second. Again, a two-shot foul now from here on out. 2 free throws converted here by Nathan Jackson would make this pretty much academic, as it would make it a 2-possession game. But that will not happen as Nate Jackson misses the front end. The senior guard with 20 points, but he misses the first free throw, and that keeps the Blue Springs South Jaguars alive with 4.9 seconds to play. Second free throw, also long, but Ganadin with the offensive rebound. No foul right away, and a couple of precious seconds tick off the clock. Heartbreak for the Blue Springs South coaching staff and fans as an opportunity slips past them there. Although they had no timeouts, they could have pushed it up with a chance to get up one last shot. Although Ganadin keeps them alive again with a missed free throw. So 2 misses from Jackson, 1 from Ganadin. And even if he makes this one, there is still hope for the Jaguars. Now with no timeouts on a miss, the clock will start as soon as it hits someone's hands. So it would take quite a miracle to get the ball up the floor and get a shot. Riley to Martin, who has to throw it up at the buzzer. Martin, no good. And Lee Summit West remains undefeated. And the Titans are the champions of the 37th annual Culver's Classic. Martin got the shot off in time. It hit the top of the backboard. Had it gone, it would have been a dramatic game winner and a tournament winner for the Jaguars. But Blue Springs South's effort falls just short. They fight back from an 11-point deficit, but can't overcome the undefeated Titans, who improve to 16-0 and who are this year's champions of the Culver's Classic Shootout at Lee Summit High School. Final score, Lee Summit West 53, Blue Springs South 51. It was Nathan Jackson with 20 points to lead the Titans. It was Booker with 14 and Wesley Polk with 16 to lead the way for Blue Springs South. But again, this night belongs to the Lee Summit West Titans, who are the champions of the Culver's Classic Shootout. And now the trophy presentations, as the tournament organizers and hosts will honor the runners-up. Coach Jimmy Kane accepting the second place trophy after a valiant effort by the Jaguars tonight. Silver medals being handed out to the Jaguars, again, who fall 2 points short. They were led tonight by junior Wesley Polk, who had 10 points in the fourth quarter for a team-high 16. DJ Booker, who was hampered a bit in that fourth quarter after straining his calf muscle, ended with 14 points. Carl Martin added 8. And now the championship trophy presentation, as Coach Michael Schieber of the Lee Summit West Titans and his team accept the championship trophy for the Culver Classic. And now gold medal presentation to each of the team members. There's Nathan Jackson, who led all scorers with 20, and he's got to be an all-tournament selection as he scored 14 in the semis, 20 tonight to lead the way. Shaquille Harrison added 10 points. Austin Panko with 10. Dale Brown with 8 to lead a balanced effort from the Titans. So again, our final score from the Culver's Classic in Lee Summit. It's the Lee Summit West Titans 53, the Blue Springs South Jaguars 51. You've been watching the Culver's Classic Shootout on 810varsity.com. Good night from Lee Summit.